Bonjour fragrance lovers, this is Clemence, I talk about fragrance. Welcome to Fragrance Academy, the place where you learn how to become more interesting during your fancy dinners with your fragrance knowledge. I love to share this video because I love to learn. If you're interested in that and you think that perfume is much more than performance, then you're gonna love that episode about Francois Demachy, the perfumer that once said that perfume, our language everyone understands, but not everyone can speak. Let's talk about the man with 190 fragrances in his fragrance database, the Dior perfumers everyone will always remember. At the end of the video, I will tell you about my top 5 best fragrances from this master perfumer. Let's go. Who is Francois Demachy, a perfumer under the umbrella of LVMH. He used to be the former Dior's perfumer, that's what we know him, but he's also been much more than that, and let me tell you why. So he was born in Cannes, south of France. It's beautiful, it's fancy, it's posh, but he lived almost all his life in Grasse, even more fancy for fragrance perfumer, as this is south of France, the cradle of perfumery, the world's capital of fragrance. And you ask me why? Basic, simple. The soil is Mediterranean, so it's warm, and you've got the beautiful wind of the sea coming, so the best place to grow amazing fine quality ingredients. And his dad, he also lives in Grasse, of course, and he's got a pharmacy, but he also creates fragrances. Well, he created an eau de cologne. The fragrance was called Eau de Grasse Impériale. Makes me think of a certain girl, no? There was a lot of sign in his early age that shows that Francois is definitely going to be a perfumer. One of his dad's clients and also a close friend of his was Edmond Ronisca. Edmond Ronisca. He is the guy that created Eau Sauvage and Diorissimo. It's funny, such a person close to you when later on you're gonna reformulate Eau Sauvage. Well, do another version of it. Very suspicious. This is an information I got in the Fragrance Foundation website. If you want to see my sources, it's down in the description. Just a little word for the Fragrance Foundation, guys. This is Francois Demachy, not Demachy, please the typo. He also have a great memory of the scent of his mom, Miss Dior for the day, and for the night she used Chanel No. 5. What a fancy woman, she understands everything. It's quite funny to see that after he's gonna work and for Dior and for Chanel. You may ask me, what is the first fragrance he bought? That's interesting. He bought Eau Sauvage. Again, that's the sign. Actually, he said that he hesitated with Brut, but the choice was pretty simple, no? After that, he studied dentistry and physiotherapy, and he only decided to be a perfumer at the age of 21, so quite late. He needed money for his studies, so during summer holidays, he was working in the factories of Grasse, and that's where he got an internship, may I say, with Charabot, a fragrance house. So that's a perfume school during 5 years. And then the real tea started. He joined Chanel. He was there the director of research development, and he also collaborated on 2 fragrances with Jacques Polge, which was Anteus and Egoist. I had no idea about that, and I've been perfume expert for Chanel for years. I think it's not something that Chanel likes to communicate. It's a bit of a secret. You know, like the head perfumers of Dior for so many years did also collaborate with Chanel. There's a little clash between those 2 beautiful houses, no? It's or you go Chanel or you Team Dior. I'm Team Chanel, sorry. I love my Dior too, otherwise I won't do videos on it. But you know, if I have to choose, let me know in the comments. During that time, he did also some work for Ungaro, Bourjois, and Tiffany. In 2006, he is now the director of development at LVMH Cosmetic and Perfumes. And he also became Dior main nose. In 2009, there's a big drama, it's called the Miss Dior drama. the Miss Dior drama. I never talk about Miss Dior on my channel. It's so the mess that I'm scared I'm gonna have 100 comments after me being like, no, which version are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. It's a bit like Dior Homme, I have to say. He created in 2009 Miss Dior Chérie L'Eau. In 2011, he did some revision on the classic Miss Dior and Miss Dior Chérie. Miss Dior Chérie that is gone now. LVMH asked Francois to reimagine Miss Dior. And Miss Dior is now Miss Dior Original. And Miss Dior Chérie, he reimagined it and he calls it Miss Dior Eau de Parfum. Voilà. And why? Like sometimes you're like, why they discontinued my stuff? Or why did they reformulate it? So sometimes it's because of the ingredient. But most of the time it's because in the background there's some fight. LVMH wanted bigger control on the formula of Miss Dior, on their fragrance in general, on Dior fragrances, because the formula belonged to Givaudan. Back in the time was created by Christine Nagel, a perfumer from Givaudan. So if they reformulate the fragrance, done, no copyright, formula is ours. So during those years, he's actually very prolific because he says sometimes he can work on 8 to 9 fragrances at the same time. He said that quite not long ago, so I guess he was working for different brands as well, not just for Dior. It takes him under 12 months to 2 years to create a fragrance. So like you can see that this perfumer is all about fine ingredient and fine quality. When you look at his fragrances, for example, you go to Fragrantica and you go to have a look at the list of fragrances. What kind of fragrances are you gonna find here? Especially on the niche fragrances, less on the designer, because you know, there's such a strong brief when you create a designer fragrance that you can't see much the perfumer in there. But on niche fragrance, yes. So what is the work of Mr. Demachy? Unconditional love of fine material. My role is to enhance all these wonderful materials. At Dior, the quality is constant. That is our signature. His inspiration is always the Mediterranean Sea, climates, Italian, Japanese culture. Also absolutely not related is a car connoisseur and a passionate diver. You didn't want to know that, but me, I thought it was funny. A successful perfume is one in which the formula is as beautiful as the fragrance. One that takes the woman to wearing it smile and awaken desire in a man. Oh, that's beautiful. We all want to awaken desire in a man. Not that much me, I wear perfume for myself, but it's true that... Francois, I agree now, but... not always, but yes. Anyway, his 5 favorite smells is actually the sea, pine trees, jasmine field, rose, and olive oil. Yeah, and one. It's for its green fruitiness, okay? The worst smell he ever smelled was the smell, it's a lot of smell, when a cornfield has been burnt. That's fancy. I wouldn't say that myself. Mine is, if you want to know more about the creation, the process of fragrances, raw ingredient, I highly encourage you to watch the movie Nose. It's a documentary launched by Dior, but it actually is more like a film and it's really good. And if you ask me where, I don't know. They went to Indonesia. Most of the very fine quality patchouli is from Indonesia. They travel for 3 days. They travel by car. They travel by feet. They travel across lots of isolated villages to finally find out in the middle of nowhere, like some plantation of patchouli. When you work with natural ingredients, and that's the beauty of quality fragrances, there's actually people working on those plants for you. And it makes things much more emotional when you smell the fragrance, when you know when it's from. Finally got to see my favorite ingredient in its natural environment. This is where it all begins. So to conclude, his best advice to enhance your appreciation of fragrances, guys, is take your time. And I'm quoting him, take your time. Enjoy the process of exploring and trying fragrances. as the best advice. And finally, I wanted to give you some of the creation of Francois Demachy. Acqua di Parma, Myrto, Colonia, Oud Rosa, Nobile, Ambre Nuit, Bois d'Argent, Escale à Portofino, actually all the escales for him, Cuir Canage, Dior Addict line, all of them, let's go. Dior Homme line, well, there's, some stuff in there. Eau Sauvage parfum, Fahrenheit le parfum, Fève délicieuse, Hypnotique poison, line. A lot of J'adore, Joy, New Look, Sauvage, all of them. Fendi Fendi, Dahlia Divin, Kenzo Homme, and I'm not even telling you all, there's so many. Just to let you know, I didn't include Dior Homme, one of my favorite ever designer. I know he did like many versions and stuff like that, especially the new ones, but the new ones are not my favorite, and the ones before were in collaboration with other perfumers as well. We've seen also Olivier Paul, perfumer of Chanel, but I absolutely love it, and I think if you look for a classic in your men's collection, this is something you shouldn't not have in your collection. Tobacco color, definitely one of my favorite. The sweet tobacco, the sweetness is given by honey, and you've got a lot of dried fruit like peach, plum, so it gives a boozy accord of the fragrance. It's like so smoky, it's very sexy on men, but also on women it gives you punch and character. Bad bee fragrance, the girl, she's going out like she's on top of her outfit, so not me today. Eau Demoiselle by Givenchy. This is for exactly my look today. I adore this fragrance. It's very like vintage to do this heart of flower, jasmine, ylang ylang, rose, neroli. That's very classic, you see. But you've got a pinch of aromatic tone with the basil. It's not girly, but it's very romantic, feminine, delicate. The girl, she's like... Voilà. Fahrenheit. So he didn't create the classic Fahrenheit, but he did do Le Parfum. If you ask me, I would probably choose the classic. But in Francois Demachy's work, Le Parfum for me is a work of art. You remove a little bit that gasoline stuff, you get something a little bit more macho, a bit more violet leaf. That gives a bit of a roundness, powderiness to a fragrance. It's much more warmer. It's not as leather jacket as the cool guy next door or the toilette. With the vanilla, the rum gives you something extremely refined for guys. You trust yourself, The guy has a beard, not fluffy though. He's like cutting the beard. He likes to prepare himself, looks classy. But want to be sexy for his age, so not go too sweet, New Look 1947, and you ask me why New Look 1947? What a strange name. 1947, Dior created a new look like this, like women, like bees. For me, I prefer the tomboy of Chanel, but that's again because I'm more Chanel than Dior. But I love this look. It's so iconic. And I love everything that is like this, okay? It's not the most comfortable sometimes, but it makes you feel extremely feminine, extremely glamorous. So this fragrance is a bit vintage. It makes me think of how you were doing fragrances back in the day. So very powdery, this puffy blush that they used to have vintage, that it makes me think of that. Like my grandma, she's got one with a massive puff, you see, like you do this and there's so many smoke. It smells like that. It's so elegant. Fève délicieuse, that is available in some market and not available in some. Cherry gourmand fragrance is like a must-have. The Ton Cabine, basically, they're referring to in the title. It's very roasty. It's a vanilla-like smell, but like you've put it in the oven to burn a little bit. You see what I mean? So the darker one, a roasty one, caramel-like, lavender to balance this all, cherry, and with the time, trust me, you spray it, and with the time, the cherry appear even more. Not gonna please everyone, my favorite for sure. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a long time we didn't do an episode of when we're talking about perfumer, but for me, it is key, guys. And when you learn about this, you also learn about fragrances. You also learn how to appreciate them in a different way with the word of master perfumer. And who else knows more the fragrances than them? I take example from this person and no one else. Voila. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Please Don't forget, hit the like button because this is key for my analytics. Thanks. And also, if you're generous, you can go in the description. I've got a Utip account where you can give me a little tip to help me to grow. And also, you can super thanks now. Yes, just done in a video, you can click super thanks, and that's really nice, very appreciated. And also, no, that's it. I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you soon. Bye now.